Hello and welcome to the Alexandra Wenman show. Today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite archangels. As part of my series on angels, it would be a little bit remiss of me not to include Archangel Michael. Obviously, Michael is quite a famous archangel. Michael's been written about through many ancient religious texts. Every single man-made religion talks about Archangel Michael, I think. Plus there are many spiritual teachers and healers on the planet at the moment that talk about Michael. Many of you might recognize this kind of blue color. This is the color that is most often associated with Archangel Michael. He's said to work on the first divine ray, which is the ray of divine will. But what does that actually mean? So divine will, to me, it's kind of akin to our own divine will power. So when you are invoking Archangel Michael, you're actually invoking that part of yourself that has a strong will, that has the ability to protect yourself. Michael is, I can actually see some orbs flying around while I'm filming this video, so I guess Michael is very much present. And as I've said in previous videos on the angels, just your intention to work with these beautiful beings of light will actually invoke their presence. Just speaking their name or saying their name or even thinking their name, even the split second before you have the intention to work with an angel, it is with you. So when you're working with Archangel Michael, you're actually invoking that divine aspect of yourself, which is your divine willpower. It's your divine inner strength. It's your own divine higher consciousness, your own divine ability to protect yourself and to keep yourself safe. Now, when you're working with any angel, it's my belief and in my experience that it's best not to give your power away to anything outside of you. So I don't work with the angels in that when I'm afraid I go, Michael, please help me. I think that that's kind of the wrong energy to be in, because it's sort of giving away our ability to look after ourselves, and it's in a way expecting something outside of us to come in and rescue us. From our human perspective, yes, angels are guardians of light and they are here to serve. As I've said before, they don't have free will, so they can't help you unless you ask. But in the asking, it's best to note and to understand that what you're actually invoking is, yes, a being of light that is part of the divine, but also to acknowledge that you are part of that divine wholeness, that divine oneness as well. So when you're invoking Michael and you're saying or thinking the name Michael, you are invoking that part of your divine higher self, which has the ability to have a strong will and to center yourself, to ground yourself, and to protect and shield your energy. You are the best warrior that you have in your life. You are the best protector. I also talk a lot about the difference between the word protection and safety. So this is, it's a bit of a minefield in this day and age, because we're all running around kind of feeling a bit, I need protection. But in my experience, sometimes when you're asking for protection, it can actually evoke the idea that you are needing to protect against something, or that you need to keep something out, or that maybe you're not safe. So I tend to these days just work with the word safety, and when I feel unsafe, the best thing I do is I invoke Archangel Michael and my higher self always, and then I sit with the feeling of safety. And whenever you feel unsafe, or whenever you feel a certain emotion, a really good way to counterbalance that is to think of its opposite, think of its positive counterpart, and meditate on that energy, meditate on that feeling. So what does it feel like to you to have a strong will, to be strong in your willpower? What does it feel like to feel centered, to feel grounded? What does safety feel like? If you don't feel safe at the moment, then imagine, and we work with our imagination with all of this, imagine what it would feel like to feel safe. It's a really simple exercise. Come back to joy, come back to safety. And you are, the minute that you are sitting in your joy, and the minute that you decide that you feel safe, and the minute that you align with your divine self, you are safe. You create your reality, and you become invincible in that moment. And that is what makes Archangel Michael's energy so potent when you work with it, instead of sort of we can tend to work against it. Michael, please help me. Michael, protect me. Michael, shroud me. Michael, shield me. But if you're not working with the angel's energy, and if you're not taking responsibility for your own safety and your own shielding and working with this energy as part of your own divine empowerment, then it's going to be less potent. So with everything, it all works with your imagination. It all works with your emotions. It all works with your own ability to stand in your inner strength, to stand in your divine strength. And then Michael becomes a complete force to be reckoned with. So the first thing I suggest you do when you're working with Archangel Michael, or when you're invoking this powerful archangel, is first to trust. Always trust when you're working with angels. You can ask for evidence that Michael is with you. I have an amazing story of this evidence of Michael. I always imagine that Michael comes around me with an indigo or a purple cloak. Usually indigo, similar to the color that I'm wearing today, like a really deep midnight blue. Sometimes I see it with flecks of red or orange. In the Kabbalah, Michael is represented by the color orange, which is the color of fire and the energy of the south. And so when I'm working with Michael, I imagine an indigo cloak coming around me, or I sometimes imagine an indigo bubble coming around me, bubble of light. You can also send this protection to people if you feel that they need it, and their higher self will discern if you ask if it's for their highest good. If you feel somebody around you needs a little bit of shielding or is feeling a bit vulnerable, you can ask Michael to be with them as well. So I always work with this indigo cloak. Many years ago, I was in Glastonbury and I was feeling a little bit vulnerable. I'd actually gone there to work on something, to have some healing. And I went out in my lunch break to the Chalice Well Gardens, and I actually asked Archangel Michael to be with me. And on this particular day, even though I normally work more with the color indigo for Michael, on this particular day, I got shown the vision of a purple cloak. And so on this particular day, I asked Michael to cloak me in a purple cloak, and then I asked for a sign that he was actually with me. I was feeling particularly low, particularly vulnerable, and quite sensitive, and so I really wanted that evidence. And as humans, it's okay to ask for that evidence. We need that tangible proof that what's going on is actually happening. I mean, it's one thing to have faith and to have trust, which of course we have, but we need to have an experience. And I wouldn't, I have to say, even though I completely believe in angels, I work with angels daily, I don't know if this far down the track, if I would still be believing in them if I hadn't had tangible physical experiences with them. So, I know that angels aren't just in my imagination, and it's not just trust and faith that I go on. I actually have had so much tangible proof that these beings are around me and that they are working with me. And you can build up your own personal relationship with them, and you can ask for this tangible proof. I have so many stories of evidence of this proof, and this one day in Glastonbury is one such story. So I had been walking through the Chalice Well Gardens, and obviously this is a very powerful, potent spot in terms of Archangel Michael's energy, because the Chalice Well has two springs, the red spring and the white spring. And the red spring is very connected with Archangel Michael because it sits on the Michael ley line that runs through this planet. So I was sitting in Archangel Michael's ley line. I was drinking at the red spring fountain in the Chalice Well, which has the little face of the lion. And I was asking for protection in the shape of this purple cloak. And then the split second that I asked for evidence that Michael was with me, I looked up. I just happened to look up from the spring at that moment. I'd just taken a sip of the red spring water, which is very iron-heavy, iron-rich water. And I looked up, and walking across the Chalice Well Gardens, there was no one else around, was a woman completely dressed in a purple cloak. She had the hood up and everything, and I couldn't believe the actual evidence of the purple cloak that I'd been asked to work with, and when I'd asked for evidence that Michael was there. If you need proof, if you need evidence, ask for it. But I'm going to take you through a little process to work with Archangel Michael. The first and foremost, thing about working with Michael is always to work with your own divine will. Work with your own imagination, work with your own feelings, work with your own energy. anything like this only works if you believe in it, if you trust in it. And you can ask for proof to help you believe in it. But just remember that ultimately it's you. You are your God. You are your guru. You are your master. You are your teacher. No one has ultimate power over you. And we all are in a place now on this earth where it's time for us to be claiming back our own power. So I just encourage you not to put your power outside of you. If anything I say doesn't resonate, chuck it out. You don't have to listen to me. I'm not here to convert anybody. I'm just here to lovingly share, because all of this work, all of my work with angels and beings of light, ascended masters, the Akashic records, past lives, all of it has helped me greatly on my own path. So, and now I feel compelled to share it. And if it helps just one person, then that makes me very happy. So in working with Michael, he can actually shield your energy, but he can also help you to clear your energy field of anything that shouldn't be there. So you could imagine Michael. Sometimes you can imagine angels. Some people see angels very differently too. Some will see them as orbs of light. And again, you might have seen some orbs flying around me while I've been filming this video. I kept seeing them pass across the screen. So however you see an angel, or however you imagine an angel, work with that. This all works with your database, your experience, your imagination. Some people will see angels as like humans with big wings in the way that they're spoken of in the Bible. Some people will see them as orbs of light. Some people will see them as columns of fire. They are archetypes of creation and beings of light. So however it resonates with you, they usually will show you. I have a friend that sees them as big arcs of light across the room, and just lights, glowing lights around her. But I tend to see them in my clairvoyance as the kind of human-like beings with wings. I see Michael as a being with very long, flowing blonde hair. And I never used to imagine him like this. I used to always imagine Michael with dark hair. And then many years ago, I had an experience in Sydney when I went home to Australia, where I had an incredible experience with Archangel Michael. And I'm going to share this with you just before we go through our process, because this blew my socks off. A few times in my life, I've had really powerful, very embodied experiences with the archangels, in that I have experienced no separation between me and the angel. I have, in essence, become the angel. And it's never happened when I've planned it to. It's always been a sort of angelic intervention. It's never been something I can sit down and go, right guys, I'd like to have an embodied angelic experience now. It always happens when I least expect it. It's happened on the bus to work. It's happened in workshops. And on this particular day, I was home visiting my family in Australia, and my mum, my granddad had recently died, and there was a big service at St Mary's Cathedral, like a memorial service, and my granddad's name was on the list, so we went to honour him to this church service. So I went in and immediately sat down on the church pew, and I put my hands on my body and I closed my eyes, and I just asked for whichever angel was present to come close and to connect with me. And the next thing I know, the entire church filled with this brilliant light. It was like a white blue light, but it had indigo run through it. The next thing I know, my eyes were open. I could see the altar of this huge cathedral, and standing on the altar in front of my vision was this huge archangel with a sword of light drawn, and he had armor on, and it was completely still and very hot in the church because it was summer in Sydney. But this blonde hair was flowing like a mane, and he was very triumphant standing up there on the altar. But the thing that really astounded me was it wasn't just a vision. What happened was I could feel this angel standing in me. I could feel him standing in my energy field. And I felt as though I was him, and I was seeing the projection of him. So he was not separate. Even though I could see him here on the altar in front of me, I simultaneously became him. And it was me with my sword drawn. And suddenly I felt this rush of love and tingles of energy like you couldn't describe. It was just incredible, and indigo and white light going off everywhere. My body dissolved. I wasn't myself anymore. And suddenly the whole room then dissolved, and I became bigger than the universe. And the power and the love and the strength flowing through me was absolutely unstoppable. And what I didn't realize at the time was that this visit from Archangel Michael, or this experience of my own Michael energy, was preparation for something that was about to happen to me in my life. And this happened, this experience would have been, I think, around 2011, maybe early 2012. And it was just before I went through a huge collapse of life as I knew it, and a preparation for the healing system, precious wisdom that I have channeled, that I've brought through. And what I didn't realize at the time was that Michael was coming to show me, I'm with you, I'm standing with you, I'm protecting you. Look at how powerful you are when you invoke your own divine energy. You need not be afraid. And then he showed me a vision of it was like a racetrack, and the gates opening, and all the paths of the racetrack lit up in gold. And it was like he was showing me what was to come. And I feel that this is a message for humanity, that we're all kind of standing at the gates, waiting for the golden path to open in front of us, waiting for the new horizon, waiting for the new golden era and the new golden earth to emerge. And it is coming. And before you know it, you might go through some tough times, you might be having a stressful experience. Michael will stand with you and work with you through all of that. Just have faith, stand in your will, know that nothing that is being thrown at you, no experience you have, will be anything that you cannot handle. It won't be anything that your higher self hasn't signed up for. So rest in the faith that whatever challenge you're going through, you are going through it to make you stronger, to make you more powerful, to bring you into more and more the person, the being that you are meant to be here on this planet, to align you with your soul purpose and mission. And before you know it, those gates are going to open, and you're going to be flying along that golden path into a beautiful new future for yourself. Know that anything that isn't working out in your life isn't for your highest good. If the doors remain shut, there's a reason for that. I used to think that I wanted a career as a journalist. I used to think that I was going to be a magazine editor. Well, I ticked that box, and then it collapsed out from underneath me. Some of the things that I've wanted for myself haven't happened. But every time I have remained in faith, and I have remained in trust, and I have understood and recognized, well, that door is shut for a reason. At some point, at the right time, another door opens. And the other door that opens is always far better, far bigger, and far more in alignment with my joy and my happiness and my purpose than I ever thought it could be. I am seeing in my daily life miracles unfold that I never thought possible now. And it is my wish that in working with the angels, in working with your higher self, in standing in your own power, your own divine will, with the help of Archangel Michael and your divine self, that you too will start to experience these vast miracles unfolding. This life is not easy. This life on this planet can be very difficult for people, and I make no bones about that. Angels aren't all light and fluffy and woo-woo. It's not all candy floss, rainbows and hearts. But the thing about angels is they are powerful, especially someone like Michael, an energy like Michael. If you are not on your path and you call on Michael to get you on your path, he will give you a boot in the proverbial backside to get you on your path. So, be aware that all of this is all ultimately your responsibility, but also to understand that you're not going to have any experience that isn't for your highest and best good. But always remember to ask. You can ask if, please let it be gentle. Please, I asked for the quick shift, for the fast path. I said, right, I need to be of service. Put me where you need me. I'm ready. But on many levels, I forgot to ask for something for me in that. And so I've been living a life of a lot of sacrifice. And in the last couple of years, I've actually been asking, right, if I'm going to be of service, I also now need to have my needs met. And I need to start coming back to my joy, because the last 5-6 years, God knows how long, 10-20 years, has been bloody hard. It's been difficult. And, you know, I've said this before, people might watch you on your social media, they might see you on YouTube, they might see you on Instagram and think, oh, hasn't she got an easy life? Isn't she blessed? So don't judge a book by its cover, because nobody really knows what you're going through. And my life has not been easy, but I've worked really, really hard to get to a place where I can understand that the challenges and the punches are all part of the journey, and they're all part of a kind of initiatory process to get me in my power. And I've been working constantly with Archangel Michael, all the archangels and angels, all the realms of light, the Higher Galactic Council, the Ascended Masters. A butterfly has just landed on my window while I'm filming this as well, so there's a lovely symbol of transformation and yes, coming out of the darkness of the cocoon and into the light. And it's my wish for all of you that you will experience this as well. So in working with Michael, I'm going to just show you a really quick process. So I was talking about Michael having that sword of light, and you can imagine that sword of light being a white light or a blue light. I see it as a white blue light, or a pure white light, but with indigo and blue run through it. And you can ask Michael to place the tip of that sword into your energy field, and to use it a bit like a vacuum cleaner or a hoover, and just to suck out anything that shouldn't be in your energy field. And you can do this very quickly. And then imagine your energy field filling with indigo light, really potent indigo light. And any fears, doubts, worries, any aggressive energies can be dissolved in this energy. Any feeling that you need to defend yourself, or, you know, one of the things I used to constantly do, especially being out of the spiritual closet, was to have to defend my beliefs. You know, people going, prove it to me. How do you know angels exist? Well, I just know. I've had enough evidence. I'm not here to prove it to anybody else. I have all the evidence I need. So if you find that you're feeling, I've got to defend myself and my beliefs, don't bother. You don't have to bother. We're not here to prove it to anybody else. I'm just here to live a life that is as fulfilling and joy-filled for myself as possible, and then in leading by that example, hopefully that will lead to maybe others seeing how my life is and following suit for themselves, but not in the same way I've done it, to do it for themselves. So imagine that indigo light dissolving that need to defend, that need to constantly validate yourself. You have all the validation you need. You are a divine being of light. So just rest in that knowledge, and then ask Archangel Michael to bring the sword of light around you in all directions, just to cut any entanglements or any cords, anywhere your energy is being drained, or anywhere you might be draining energy, any cords that are taking you back to events or people or places in any time, space, any frame or reality. This can actually help to clear some karma. And then ask Michael, once those cords are cut around you, this doesn't damage any relationships, it doesn't damage anything, this is only negative cords, any negative entanglements. Sometimes we can look a little bit like Spaghetti Junction with how many different things we've got going on in our lives. Even your thoughts can cord to people. You can have worries that are like tangled up in your brain. Ask Michael to untangle them. Ask Michael to take his sword of light, split it in two, make it like knitting needles, and crochet it into something beautiful. But, you know, use your imagination and however you need to work with it to do that. But then ask Michael to place his indigo cloak of protection around you, indigo cloak of safety and shielding, a bubble of indigo light, and bring yourself right into your body. Bring yourself into your center. Place your focus. If you want to imagine that you have an indigo ball of light in the center of your mind, your brain. We often think our consciousness resides in our brain. It doesn't. Consciousness is everywhere and in all places at all times. And consciousness is wherever you place your awareness. So you can imagine you have an indigo ball of light around your pineal gland at the center of your brain. Bring it all the way down and anchor it right down in your base chakra, right at the tail of your spine or somewhere below your navel, and really anchor it down there and feel yourself. Sometimes you could place that ball of light in what we call your solar plexus or your power center and feel it pulsing, and place your divine will there. If I say to you, imagine you have an iron will. Imagine that you can stand in your strength, in your power, and that anything coming towards you just dissolves. This is what makes you invincible. This is you Michaeling. This is you standing in your truth. This is you becoming the Archangel Michael. And at the same time, invoking the energy of that being of divine light to come around you and work with you and shield you and protect you. But I encourage you to play with any of this, come up with your own processes, use your imagination. Your imagination is the key to your higher knowledge, your higher wisdom, your higher truth, and ultimately your own empowerment. This is all about coming back to love. This is all about living a life of love, of truth, and of ultimate joy in the long run, and the rewards are just so fulfilling. So I hope you have enjoyed this video on Archangel Michael. I could talk about Michael till the cows come home. He is amazing. There's so much information out there on the internet. Do your own research, forge your own relationship with Michael, work with him, try him on. Try on your Michael wings. See how you experience Michael. If you want to work with any of the angels, I suggest as well, if you want to start to discern what energies are with you, go with your feelings. Always your feelings will tell you the truth. If you have any doubts whatsoever about any being or any energy that comes into your energy fields, any doubt whatsoever, just close down and say no. You've got to be sure. There are protocols that you should go through. Be sure that you are working with a being of light and that it is Michael that you're working with, and your feeling will tell you that. You will always feel love. You will always feel a loving presence around you with Michael. So if we do a little process now, if you want to just close your eyes, and I want you to imagine that you are surrounded by white light. Just fill your energy field with white light, like a column or a pillar of white light. And I'm going to ask Archangel Michael now to step forward and to infuse your pillar of white light with his energy, with his indigo blue light. You might visualize Michael as red or orange, whatever resonates with you. But ask Michael now to show you the color that is most associated with your own personal relationship with him. Some people see Michael as pink. It will be completely personal to you. So just ask Michael, please show me the color, or tell me which color I can most associate with you. But I want you to just feel into the energy. What does Michael's energy feel like? With your self-centered, your awareness centered either in your solar plexus, or you could come into your heart for this process. Dear Michael, please show me what you feel like. It will always feel loving. Dear Michael, please show me what you look like. It could be a color, you might see an image. Use your imagination. If I could imagine what Archangel Michael looked like, what would I imagine? What would his face look like? What would his wings look like? Is he wearing clothing? And then we're going to ask Archangel Michael to bring you a symbol or a small gift. Dear Michael, how will I know that you have been with me on this day? And imagine him placing a small symbol or a gift in your left hand. Take note of what that symbol is, because in the coming days and weeks you may see this symbol or this small gift or receive it somewhere in your waking reality, somewhere in your physical reality. Dear Michael, please bring me evidence that you have connected with me here today. And then we ask Michael to completely infuse your energy with his indigo light. And we ask that you bring this safety and this divine strength and this divine will with you into your waking reality. And that you can invite Michael to remain with you always, permanently, if you want. The thing about archangels is they can simultaneously be with everyone at once, because they are not bound by the laws of time and space. They are infinite. as our higher self is infinite. So all angels can be with everyone at once. So I've asked Michael to move in with me. I'm sure my husband doesn't mind. As angels go, he's pretty sexy. Anyway, I digress. But I hope that you have enjoyed watching this video on Archangel Michael. Work with your Michael cloak, work with the symbolism and the colors and the energy of Michael, forge your own relationship and see how you get on. And I'd love to hear your feedback at the bottom here. If anyone has any questions about the angels too, I would be happy to hear your questions, and then maybe I can make some videos and answer some questions on the angels. I don't do prophecy or fortune telling, but if there's anything I can talk about on a general level to do with the angels and your own relationship with them, I'm happy to do that. So thank you so much for watching this video today on Archangel Michael, and I wish you all the best.